The early 20th century. America was a nation on the move, its vast distances bridged by the iron ribbons of the railroad. Trains were the lifeblood of commerce, carrying fortunes in goods and gold. They were symbols of progress, but also tempting targets for those with audacity and a thirst for riches. Train robberies, daring heists that captured the public imagination, became a recurring theme in the American story. Few, however, were as audacious or as meticulously planned as the Great Train Robbery of 1923. This wasn't just a smash-and-grab job, this was a symphony of planning and cunning, orchestrated by a criminal mastermind who seemed to have stepped out of the pages of a dime novel. His name, whispered in saloons and feared in hushed tones by lawmen, was Charles Smooth, Charlie Kessler. The railroads were changing America, connecting communities and fueling the economy, but they also provided fertile ground for a new breed of outlaw. These daring bandits saw the trains not just as symbols of progress, but as moving vaults ripe for the picking. The allure of quick riches, the danger of the open tracks, and the thrill of outsmarting the law. These elements converged to make train robberies a captivating part of American folklore. And in this shadowy world, few names would resonate as strongly as that of Smooth Charlie Kessler. Charles Kessler was a study in contrasts. On the surface, he was a successful businessman, a pillar of his community. He dressed impeccably, his manners were refined, and he could charm the stripes off a zebra. But beneath this veneer of respectability lurked a cunning mind, a master strategist with an insatiable appetite for risk and reward. Kessler understood that a successful heist, especially one of this magnitude, required more than just brute force. It demanded meticulous planning, a deep understanding of logistics and timing, and most importantly, a crew with skills as diverse as the challenges they would face. He began assembling his team with the meticulous care of a watchmaker, selecting gears for a complicated timepiece. Each member had to possess a unique set of skills, a specific talent that Kessler could weave into the tapestry of his elaborate plan. There was Fingers McGee, a safecracker so skilled he could open a vault with a whisper. Then there was Trax O'Malley, a former railroad man with an encyclopedic knowledge of train schedules, routes, and security protocols. And of course, no heist of this scale would be complete without a demolitions expert. Enter Nitro Nelson, a volatile but undeniably gifted individual who treated explosives with a mix of respect and reckless abandon. Each member of Kessler's crew was a fascinating character in their own right. Fingers McGee, with his nimble fingers and quiet demeanor, was a counterpoint to the boisterous Nitro Nelson, whose booming laugh and love for explosives were infamous. Trax O'Malley, the quiet observer, provided the vital link to the world of railroads, his knowledge gleaned from years spent working the rails. There was also Whisper Jones, a master of disguise and infiltration, capable of blending into any crowd and procuring information with a disarming smile and a well-placed bribe. And then there was Iron Maggie, a woman of unparalleled strength and determination, who served as both muscle and strategist, keeping the men in line and ensuring the plan stayed on track. Kessler, the conductor of this unlikely orchestra, understood the importance of each individual's strengths. He fostered a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose, ensuring that each member felt valued and understood their role in the grand scheme. This was not just a gang, it was a team, bound by loyalty, ambition, and the intoxicating allure of the impossible. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with, a collection of misfits and mavericks, each drawn to Kessler's charisma and the promise of a life-changing score. The diversity of their skills and personalities, while seemingly disparate, would prove to be their greatest asset. Kessler's target was not just any train. It was a Federal Reserve train, rumored to be carrying a king's ransom in recently minted currency. This iron bank on wheels was heavily guarded, but Kessler, ever the strategist, saw not obstacles, but opportunities. He studied the train's route, meticulously noting its vulnerabilities. He discovered a remote stretch of track in a sparsely populated area, a perfect location for a daring interception. The plan was audacious, relying on perfect timing, inside knowledge, and a healthy dose of calculated risk. Kessler planned for every eventuality, drilling his crew relentlessly, transforming them into a well-oiled machine of precision and efficiency. He knew that security would be tightest at major stations and heavily populated areas. He needed a section of the route that was isolated yet accessible, a place where they could control the environment and dictate the terms of engagement. The location they chose, a desolate stretch of track flanked by dense woodland, was ideal. Kessler also understood that taking on armed guards in a straight fight was a fool's errand. He needed to outsmart them, to create a scenario where the guards would be caught off guard, their training and firepower rendered useless. The plan hinged on misdirection, on creating a crisis elsewhere to draw attention away from their true objective. Section 5. A night of daring and precision. The night of the heist was tense, the air thick with anticipation. As the Federal Reserve train rumbled towards its fateful rendezvous, Kessler's crew, disguised as railroad workers, sprang into action. A carefully orchestrated false emergency signal brought the train to a grinding halt in the desolate location Kessler had chosen. With practiced efficiency, Trax O'Malley and Iron Maggie uncoupled the engine and the mail car, stranding the guards and passengers behind. The rest of the gang, led by Kessler, stormed the mail car, their movements precise, their faces hidden behind masks. Fingers McGee, living up to his name, worked his magic on the safe, the intricate mechanism yielding to his touch like a whispered secret. Meanwhile, Nitro Nelson, with a mixture of expertise and barely suppressed glee, rigged the track behind the isolated cars, ensuring that no reinforcements could arrive in time. The operation went smoother than even Kessler could have hoped. Within minutes, they had what they came for. Bags upon bags filled with freshly minted bills, and were melting back into the night, leaving behind a scene of controlled chaos. The train, now a sitting duck, was at their mercy. There was a tense moment as the guards, realizing they had been duped, attempted to regain control, but Kessler, cool under pressure, managed to neutralize the threat without any casualties. His plan, so meticulously crafted, had accounted for every variable, every potential obstacle. The following morning, news of the daring heist spread like wildfire. The nation was in shock. The audacity of the crime, the precision with which it was executed, and the fact that the perpetrators had vanished without a trace, captivated the public imagination. Newspapers ran sensationalized headlines, law enforcement agencies across the country were mobilized, and the Pinkerton Detective Agency, renowned for their investigative prowess, was called in to crack the case. The Pinkertons, led by the legendary agent James Maloney, a man known for his sharp intellect and relentless pursuit of justice, arrived at the scene with a singular purpose: to bring the perpetrators to justice. The crime scene, meticulously examined, yielded few clues. The gang, led by Kessler, had left no trace, disappearing into thin air like phantoms of the night. The robbery became the talk of the nation. Theories abounded, rumors swirled, and everyone, it seemed, had an opinion on who these daring bandits were and how they had managed to pull off such an audacious heist. In saloons and speakeasies, people whispered about Smooth Charlie Kessler and his crew, their legend growing with each retelling. The robbery, far from being a simple crime, had morphed into a national spectacle, a captivating mystery that gripped the nation in its thrall. The boldness of the act, the sheer audacity of robbing a Federal Reserve train, struck a chord with a public disillusioned with the post-war economic landscape. The Pinkerton Detective Agency, however, were not easily deterred. Agent Maloney, a bloodhound on the trail, meticulously pieced together the events leading up to the robbery. He studied the crime scene, interviewed witnesses, and slowly, painstakingly, began to build a profile of the gang and their enigmatic leader. He discovered Kessler's penchant for gambling, a weakness that would prove to be his downfall. Maloney, understanding that even master criminals have their vices, began to frequent the underground gambling dens and speakeasies that Kessler was rumored to frequent. It was a long shot, a gamble in itself, but Maloney was playing the odds, and in this high-stakes game, he held a winning hand. The Pinkertons, through their network of informants and undercover operatives, began to close the net. A careless remark here, a discarded cigar there, seemingly insignificant details that, when pieced together, painted a damning picture. Kessler, despite his meticulous planning, had made one crucial mistake. He had underestimated the tenacity and reach of the Pinkerton Detective Agency. The investigation took months, a cat-and-mouse game played out on the fringes of society. Maloney, relentless in his pursuit, followed every lead, chased down every whisper, his determination fueled by a deep sense of justice and a burning desire to bring down the notorious Smooth Charlie Kessler. The trap was sprung in a seedy gambling den in Chicago. Kessler, unable to resist the allure of the cards, walked straight into the Pinkertons' net. His arrest, along with the subsequent roundup of his crew, made headlines across the nation. The trial that followed was a media circus, the public enthralled by the tales of daring and ingenuity. Despite a spirited defense, the evidence against them was overwhelming. Kessler and his crew were found guilty and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. The loot, however, was never recovered, adding another layer of intrigue to the already captivating tale. The legend of the Great Train Robbery of 1923, however, did not end with the clang of the prison gates. It lived on in the public imagination, inspiring books, movies, and songs. Smooth Charlie Kessler, the charming outlaw, became a folk hero to some, a cautionary tale to others. The story, with its themes of ambition, betrayal, and the allure of the forbidden, resonated with a nation grappling with the social and economic upheavals of the Roaring Twenties. The robbery, in its audacity and meticulous planning, revealed the vulnerabilities of a rapidly changing society, a world where fortunes could be made and lost in the blink of an eye. The Great Train Robbery of 1923 remains a fascinating chapter in American history, a tale that continues to capture the imagination nearly a century later. It speaks to our fascination with outlaws, with those who live on the fringes of society, who operate by their own rules. It is a story of ambition, of the seductive power of greed, and the thin line that separates right from wrong. But it is also a story about the enduring power of the human spirit, of the ingenuity and resilience that can be found in the most unexpected places. The gang, despite their criminal actions, were a testament to the power of teamwork, of the bonds that can form between individuals with shared goals and aspirations. The Great Train Robbery of 1923, a product of its time, continues to resonate with audiences today, a reminder of a bygone era when trains were the kings of the rails and outlaws like Smooth Charlie Kessler roamed the land, their exploits etched in the annals of American folklore. It is a story that continues to fascinate, to thrill, and to remind us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human desire for adventure, for fortune, and for a taste of the extraordinary can never be truly extinguished.